Welcome to another edition of the Grassroots Speak. My name is James Carey and I'm your host. My guest was born and raised in the Elizabethport section of Elizabeth. He and his father are truly one of the success stories in the Elizabethport. In just 1 year, this modest president of a local Pop Warner football team evolved to become the first ward councilman.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the government established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of councilman first according to the best of my ability. So.
Say Jesus.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he can take a seat over there. Carlos, have a seat.
First Ward Councilman, Mr. Torres. Welcome back to the show, Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
First time you were here serving in the capacity of president of Elizabeth Packard's football team. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. First and foremost, before we really begin with the question, let me seize the opportunity once again in congratulating you on your new appointment.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, has the reality set in yet?
No, not really. I still walk through City Hall, you know, still the same guy. People call me councilman. I'm looking behind me to see if they're talking to me or somebody else, but it hasn't set in yet.
How have your family members, because family members could be real critical.
My family has been real supportive. I mean, they've been real supportive. They're real proud of me.
Okay. Now, your rise from president of a local Pop 1 football team to councilman happened so fast. Could you have ever fathomed this accomplishment?
Not in a million years, you know. I just wanted to give back to the community through the kids. You know, I started my own nonprofit organization, and look, 5 years later, I'm the new councilman in the first ward.
Now, is this something that you always dreamed about or visualized, you know, someday getting involved in politics?
No, I just felt as though that by volunteering in the community, it was actually pulling me in that direction. So there was an opportunity to run for the position, so I did.
Okay, now let's discuss your humble beginnings growing up in the city of Elizabeth. You're the second oldest, am I correct? Second oldest of 4 siblings?
Third oldest,
Third oldest.
I have 5 sisters,
Okay.
2 above me, 3 underneath.
Okay, okay. Now, you attended the Elizabeth school system, am I correct?
That's correct. I attended the Elizabeth Public School System, went right here to School 1, Grover Cleveland, which is called something different now,
Yes.
and I graduated from Elizabeth High School.
Now, after attending Elizabeth High School, did you go on to college?
Correct. I did a little college. At that time, I felt as though that I couldn't do both. I couldn't do school and work. So I left school early to help my father in the family business.
Okay, okay. Now, you're happily married and the proud father of how many siblings?
I have 4 children. I have 2 daughters and 2 sons, in that order.
Okay, okay, you got one more, you caught up with me. I have 5. Now, you know, in regards to your transition from president to councilman, because that's a big leap in itself. You basically, you know, your responsibilities are somewhat the same in a sense, okay? You're dealing with your budgets, like, you know, you did at Packers. And how does what is the disparity in the 2 positions?
It's basically the same, like you said. It's just on another higher level. Now I'm dealing with seniors, I'm dealing with homeowners, I'm dealing with taxpayers. So it's basically, I'm still the same guy. It's just my duties are a little bit higher now.
Now, you said dealing with the seniors, okay? Because our senior population are one of our most precious populations. How have they received you in your new appointment?
Well, the good thing for me is my grandmother lives in the senior building.
Yes.
So I'm there often. I love playing cards with them, bingo, just helping them out any way I can, you know, certain events that they throw over there.
Okay. Now, let's discuss your family's business, because that's a real success story in itself. You guys started off with 1 truck.
Correct. My father started a trucking business 30 years ago with 1 truck. At the time, the economy was pretty good. I came along. I've been there 21 years. So we both had an idea of how can we expand our company. So 21 years later, we actually have 10 trucks now. So our business is import and export. So
10 trucks. Wow. That's amazing. So, and one success story that I've heard that I really took pleasure in, that you guys, most of your staff are local people. Am I correct?
that's correct. We hire people from the community, friends, family, just people looking for a job. If we have one available and they're qualified, then hey, we hire them. 'Cause I know how hard it is out there.
Okay. Now, is your business, is it located in the city of Elizabeth?
Correct. It is in the port area.
Okay. Now, you experienced real challenges process prior to being appointed. Now, let's discuss this scenario. You know, first, there was Hurricane Sandy, okay? Then, after Hurricane Sandy, the power went out, okay? And then most recently, you was tested where you had a taxi cab that was capsized I believe it was last Friday night. So how have you handled all of this?
Well, Hurricane Sandy was probably the easiest part. There's no pressure there. I felt as though that the community came together. I seen homeowners who had generators open their doors to their fellow neighbors. Local restaurant owners donate food to the seniors to feed the needy. So that just made me want to help the community even more. You know, the neighborhood did a great job and they played their part very well.
Now, one scenario that I took pleasure in, I'm like, is this guy crazy? When everybody was evacuated the port area, you were down there at the waterfront while the water was elevated. Explain that to me.
Well, as everyone knows, we have a brand new football field down there.
Right.
And I had most of my equipment down there for the kids, and I just wanted to make sure that the water levels wasn't rising high enough where all of our equipment will, be washed away into the Arthur Kill.
Now, was there any of your equipment damaged?
No, thank God, no.
Okay. Now, the whole boardwalk was what we know once known as the pier is completely demolished.
Correct. This was the worst hurricane ever that hit Elizabeth. First order of business is getting that boardwalk back together. So it's going to take time.
Okay. Now, recently, before your appointment, you guys had committee votes. What was your final tally?
I believe it was 64, and the closest guy was 44.
Okay. Now, how have your council colleagues received you?
Oh, real supportive. If I have any questions or any concerns, I could go to all 8 members, from our council president to our council at large to council people in their ward, and they've been real supportive.
Now, how has your transition, learning the agenda, voting on it, did you have a sense of, parliamentary procedure prior to your being appointed to council?
Correct. Actually, running my own organization for the past 4 years, we actually do the same thing. We have a treasurer, a vice president, a secretary, so we do follow the same laws. And before my appointment, I've been attending pre-council meetings and general meetings just to get an idea of basically how the city runs.
Okay. Now, you and the mayor basically had a cordial relationship prior to your appointment, am I correct?
The mayor has been very supportive. To be honest, I just met the mayor 5 years ago. But any event that I've thrown or asked him to come to, he did come. And that was very big.
Okay.
So,
Now, the mayor is quite a comedian, isn't he?
yes, big one.
Yeah, I always say that if he ever thought about leaving politics, he should consider doing stand-up. Now, have any of the naysayers and pundits reared their ugly heads yet? Basically, or should I just say, individuals who start surfacing, putting challenges before you?
No, not yet, and hopefully they don't.
Okay.
Hopefully they don't.
Okay. Now, you've already been tested, like I said, it pertains to your ability to handle crisis, like the Hurricane Sandy and the recent snowstorm. Now, once again, how were you able to maneuver, like I said, you had Hurricane Sandy, but you did an excellent job. far as my estimation. And then you had the snowstorm. You know, how did you, you know, what should I say, how did you, the emergency management, okay? You never had any form of experience as far as providing emergency management, but you seem to like answer the call when it arrives. How you know, did you manage that?
Well, basically what I did, I called City Hall. And they gave me certain numbers to put out there on Facebook and, you know, certain situations if they were to arise. This is what you do in case of this emergency. So I was able to use social media to spread the word out to the residents in the community.
Now, unlike some of your council colleagues, and I presented this question to School Board Commissioner Charlene Bathurst, she's like, you know, the advent of social media, social networking. Has that been effective in your, you know, as far as you getting the word out about you being a councilman and getting your word out about your intentions? Has social media been an asset to you?
Oh, big time, big time. Social media is the future. It's the future. I haven't tweeted yet, but that's coming up next.
Do you know how to tweet?
Not yet.
Oh, no, yeah. Okay. Now,
I'll take a tweeting class.
okay. Now, you have another challenge waiting you and Jim. Are you ready for this task moving forward?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. I was never shy of hard work. My father always told me if you want something, you got to work hard for it. So that's just the way I am. I'm not scared to get these hands dirty. So I'm ready.
Now, let's be speaking of your father, your mother Martha. You know, I have never seen two more dedicated parents. I mean, if you see, I'm not taking anything away from any other parent who's active in their child's development or their kids, whatever the kids are participating in. But Carlos Sr. and Martha, I mean, they're everywhere. But Pop Warner, Martha's down there shooting open the mouth with her Pop Warner attire. Your father, he says little or no words, but he's just there. They've been a big part of your, of your success, haven't they?
Correct. Oh, it's all due to them. My parents been in my corner from day one. If I told my parents today that I wanted to be a professional comedian, they would support me. You know, so they've been in my corner from day one. They believe in me, and they're my idols. You know, I know a lot of kids growing up, they had the Michael Jordans or the Bo Jacksons. I like Michael Jordan, but my parents were my idols.
Now, you know, it's funny because you're much younger than I am, but I've always, feel that kinship is there because, of course, your uncles, Mohosian and Papo, they practically raised me when we were growing up on Court Street. Actually, it was Papo who was a good baseball player, and he taught me how to play baseball. And that's something that you didn't even know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, you come from good stock. So how many is just, your father has two brothers, and are there any sisters?
He has 6 sisters, 2 brothers.
No, they migrated from Puerto Rico.
They came from Puerto Rico. My father's the oldest in the late 60s. My father came to this country and brought his mother and his siblings.
And the rest is a success story. So what plans do you have, or are you at liberty to divulge it, do you have for the first ward?
I have big plans for the first ward. I grew up down here. I know how it looked in the 80s. It was like a Wild Wild West show out here. Manny has done a great job down here.
Right. You can't take nothing away from your predecessor.
He set the bar pretty high, but I'm actually ready to set that bar a little higher.
Okay. So are you going to be one of those elected officials who are, I mean, I know this is like oxymoron because you can see that you're omnipresent, but are you going to be one of the ones that are active, proactive elected officials, or are you going to be back in the scenes?
I let my actions do the talking for me. I'm not a big talker. I don't go out there and promise anybody anything. I let my actions do the talking for me. So I'm going to be involved in this community. I'm going to be in the streets, talking to the residents in this community, the seniors, the homeowners, the youth. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm passionate about our youth. And I think that's where you start. start from our youth. You know, we need to change their change of thought process.
Right.
You know, in this neighborhood, we have children who see a cop car and say, "Who's getting arrested?"
Right.
You know, and we need to change that. You know, it can't be an officer saying hi to somebody. It has to be he's arrested somebody.
Right.
So I would like to just, you know, try to change their mindset.
Right. So what is your position on community policing? Do you feel that we need boots, when I say boots on the ground, cops walking the beats, getting to know the people in the community?
That would be nice. I'm actually going to meet with the new director from the police department to see how we could work hand in hand with each other to make this a better community.
Okay. Now, you recently had to step down as the president of the Elizabeth Packers. Now, are you still going to be supportive of them and involved with the overall operation?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm going to be the guy behind the scenes, but my face will be there every day. I will be at practice and getting these kids ready.
Okay. Who have you appointed or identified as successor?
Correct. I appointed my vice president, Mr. Kenny Vaughn. He's been with me since day one, so I feel real comfortable that he will continue to lead the Packers in the right direction. We had registration Saturday, and it was our best registration in 5 years.
And that's a testament of the success that your program has had, or should I say the Packers program, because you stepped down, but you're still involved. Because you guys went 2 games away from the national championship. Am I correct?
Correct. That was the farthest in 4 years. I knew the winning would come later. I didn't know it would come that quick, though. You know, when I started the Packers, I wanted to build a solid foundation. You know, I think if you build a solid foundation, your house won't crumble. So I wanted to build, I wanted to put a treasurer in place, a vice president. I wanted to run like a business. Even though it's a nonprofit, you still have to treat it like a business. So I think we've done
I've never seen, you do possess a corporate mentality. I want you to know that because I've never seen a Pop Warner run so successful. And your Pop Warner is just not a regular Pop Warner. I call it a movement. You guys do Packers, correct me on Packers Pads or?
Packer Packs and Pads.
Yeah, now explain that program.
The Packer Packs and Pads is basically how can we give back to the community. So my staff, we came up with an idea of school supplies. So we give out thousands of dollars worth of school supplies, meaning book bags, pencils, pens, rulers, notebooks, because we know in this community some parents just don't have it. So this is our way of giving back. Right now we're in the process of trying to do after-school tutoring. I'm talking to a couple of people, so hopefully we could get that up and going.
Okay. Well, I've been just informed that, we're out of time, but I look forward to having you back on the show in the near future. You let me know that how your progress and development has gone, right?
Well, before we leave, my uncle taught you how to play baseball. You weren't a good baseball player.
Well, see, you were young, though. That wraps up our show. However, I would like to thank my guests, First Ward Councilman Mr. Carlos Torres, and you, our viewing audience. Until next time, instead of criticizing, get involved. Instead of being subjective, be objective. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And in the words of our late freedom fighter sister, Vicky White, what are you prepared to do? If you have any comments about this show, email us at grassrootspeak, number 18 at yahoo.com. Power to the people and be at peace. This got to be the most charismatic council person.
City Council member, if you would like to say a few words at the time.
Thank you, Mr. President. First and foremost, I would like to thank God. I prayed hard on this. Everything my kids for making fun of me, practicing my speech. To my other family, the Packers, thank you so much. To the Democratic Committee, thank you for your support, and to the community and my friends, thank you. This couldn't happen without your support. Thank you. And to City Council also, thank you for your support.